आफ्टर गेटिंग अ फर्स्ट ब्रेक, उसके ऐसा था कि बहुत सारा काम आना शुरू हो गया?
बिल्कुल नहीं. In this industry, you have to call people. People need to know that you're interested in working.
आजकल मैं न्यू कमर्स को देखता हूँ, there's so much concern about their looks.
That is the biggest myth that they have in their head. You're not looking at the bigger, larger picture where they want you to look like the character. It's not about making you look good or bad.
These days, all the influencers, they think that wearing short clothes will look more elegant.
You find what looks good on you and wear that, irrespective whether it's in style or not.
सलमान खान के ऊपर काफ़ी मिक्स ओपिनियंस हैं. What is your opinion? I think 14 years is a good time और आपका फ्रेंडली वो एक बॉन्ड भी हो जाता है.
So I've known him from school. He's a very quiet person. He doesn't talk much. Very good at heart.
I was watching one of your podcasts somewhere and you said very beautifully this thing. You should never undervalue yourself.
You should work with blinders all along and just there is your manzil and you'll reach there. That's it.
Ashley, so thank you for being part of Impact Stories.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So first, if I'm not wrong, you got inspired because of your mother to be a designer, costume designer and stylist, whatever the term we use correctly. So because of your mother, I think you wanted to be like.
You've done your homework right. That's true. My mom would every Sunday, it was, I don't know, it was miraculous, so to say, because every Sunday when she'd go to church, people would look forward to what she would wear. And she would take all her old saris and redo them, like adding one border here and another border there. So every Sunday, it looked like she was wearing a new sari. And I has to be fascinated with that. And she always encouraged me and would ask me, am I looking good? Should I change? And if I really said go and change, she would. So that's when I, really thought that, okay, I have something which is known as style in me and I should not keep it to myself. I should give my gyan to other people too.
I found your name very fancy. How come you got this name from? Because it's very popular. I got to know it's a very popular name also in...
Well, my parents were a little bit filmy, so to say, but nothing to do with films. I have no connection whatsoever. It's from the movie Gone with the Wind, where Ashley, so that's where I got my name.
They loved the movie and they put it...
Yeah, they said that if they have a son, they would name him Ashley.
Beautiful. And Rebello because of your ancestors?
Yes. So it's a Portuguese surname.
Yeah.
D'Souza, Rebello, all of them. So that's where I get my surname from.
So how's your journey started from the scratch to till today?
Well, very strange, but I had gone to Mansoor Khan's office to deliver some t-shirts. And at that time, I think I was maybe 20 kgs lesser and nicer looking. And he thought that I had come in for an audition for one of the roles for Jojita Vaisikanda.
Okay.
And I'd actually gone to deliver t-shirts because I used to make t-shirts when I was in college. And so I walked in and we started chatting and he kept asking me questions thinking that, like, have you done this before? So I'm thinking he's talking about t-shirts. And he was actually talking about the role in the film. So, and ultimately I said, what are you talking about? And he said, you're not coming for a role. I said, no, I'm not. And so then he said, what? So I said, I make t-shirts and, I'm in college still. And he said, would you like to do my film? So I said, I've never done a film before. But yeah, I said yes. And that's how I literally got my first film. I just said yes. I guess it was at the right time, at the right place. And I believe that there is, it's written in your destiny. And that was my destiny to be there that day.
Do you believe in destiny?
Of course I do. Hugely believe in destiny and luck. It plays a huge part because I see a lot of people really trying really hard. And I'm like, I didn't do anything to get into this line. I don't know anybody. Nobody. I knew nobody. Trust me. And Hindi was like, my parents wouldn't even allow us to watch Hindi movies because they thought it was a bad influence on us. Yeah. And so we were only allowed to watch English movies. But as to when I used to go for my tuition classes, I used to bunk and go and watch Hindi movies. So I used to love Hindi movies. I just love cinema and, how fascinating it was. So, so that's how basically how I got into this line, and I never turned back.
So how, see, after getting a first break, और आपको मुझे लगता है बहुत अच्छा break भी था because जो जीता वही सिकंदर was a big hit also. उसके ऐसा था कि बहुत सारा काम आना शुरू हो गया?
बिल्कुल नहीं. Because you think that because you become like, the movie is a big hit, you think that people would call you, but in this industry you have to call people. Nobody calls you. You may be the biggest superstar on the face of this earth, but you have to make that call. Till today. You have to make that call that you're interested in working, and then people get in touch with you. So, I remember working in production because I was still in college, and there was one shoot that we were doing with Ravina Tandon, and I used to do production at that time. So production means you do everything under the sun, from giving tea to settling the bills to every damn thing under the sun. And I'm very, very efficient.
You took the odd jobs.
Everything and anything I has to take up. And so there was some problem with her outfit and the designer was not available. So I went up to her and I said, I'll fix it for you, and quick fix. And I took the outfits and added sleeves and whatever she wanted. And so she thought I was a genius. She was like, who are you? Where do you come from? And I said, I'm a designer too.
Right.
So she said, what have you done before? And I said, I've done this movie, Joji the Way Sikandar. And then she said, oh, you're that Ashley Rebello. I said, yeah, that Ashley Rebello, I don't know, but I am Ashley Rebello. So she said, why aren't you doing any work? I mean, you're so talented. I love the film. And so I said, well, nobody's giving me any works. Something that she told me that changed my life completely, which said, in this field, you have to ask for work. You have to be needy enough to ask for work, and people will give the work to you. So at that given point in time, I said, well, I'm asking you for work. Will you give me work? She said, of course. You're very talented. Come home. Tomorrow I'm starting a new film. And that's how I got Andaz Apna Apna, which was my next film with her.
See, asking for work is okay, but how to knock the doors? Whom to go and whom to reach out?
A lot of people, hitkichate hain. They think that it is below their dignity. It's demeaning. No, people need to know that you're interested in working. So I've been working with Salman Khan for the last 14 years. People thought that I never did anything else. And nobody ever offered me any film because they thought I was content. But no, it doesn't work like that, because you're working with one person. So then all, whatever you have in terms of your abilities to do other things doesn't really show up, because you're just labeled as Salman Khan's designer. And, so that's when I decided to, break free with whatever I'm doing. And my niece is the one who's handling his.
I agree on this. See, मेरे को जैसे पहले इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया, when I got introduced to you, तो उन्होंने बोला कि सलमान खान के डिजाइनर रहे. But when I googled it down, watched all the videos, then I got to know, oh, done so many things. Why are they labeled with the one thing?
Yes. Correct. Because everything else is discarded. And that's not fair. So that's what I want to regain, that glory of mine, that I did X, Y, and Z films. And
so many films.
Yeah, so many films with the biggest directors and biggest producers that people are dying to work with. And they wouldn't even know that I've done
even
this.
Souths and both you have covered.
Yeah. I worked with Shankar. I worked with like so many people down south, everybody. And all the big directors made me. And Suraj Bajate made me. Anybody and everybody, with Vinod Chopra to Sanjay Leela Bansali to everybody I worked with. So, but nobody knows that I worked with her, because you're labeled as Salman Khan's designer, and
which is good also. And
so it works against. It works against you. Yes, it does. It works against you.
How?
Because nobody approaches you. They think you're so busy doing that.
You're so content.
Why would you? Why would you do my film? The day I said, okay, I'm not doing, I did a song for Shah Rukh Khan's film. I did other films. I did one film with Ravina Tandon. I did, like, I just started getting different kind of work, which I'm really interested in doing because it's your creativity then. I'm doing a period film now, and so it's it just opens up a whole new world.
So, makeup artist and costume designer, two people, I think, who are very close to an artist.
Yes.
है ना, जो उनको पूरे इनसाइड जानते हैं हर तरीके से. सलमान खान के ऊपर काफ़ी मिक्स ओपिनियंस हैं. व्हाट इज़ योर ओपिनियन? आई थिंक 14 years अ गुड टाइम, और आपका फ्रेंडली वो एक बॉन्ड भी हो जाता है.
So I've known him from school, and yeah, we were in the same school together then. He's a very quiet person. He judges you. He doesn't talk much, and he's really nice, very good at heart. He's a really, really nice person, very and very charming as an individual, but doesn't man of few words. Completely doesn't say much at all. So he likes to be by himself, and if you ask him a question, he'll be very direct to your answer, and you think that he's arrogant, but actually he's not, because that's the way he is. So, but very, very, very sweet, very nice, very down to earth, very simple. Even the way he lives, the way he conducts himself, what he eats, his food, his habits, everything is very, very, very simple.
मतलब उनके बारे में काफ़ी मिक्स खबरें आती हैं. जैसे कभी ऐसी आती है कि वो इतने बड़े दिल है उनका, मतलब जितनी लोगों की हेल्प की उन्होंने, और शायद बहुत लोग अप्रिशिएट भी करते हैं, लोग मिलते हैं, है ना. कभी ये खबर आती है कि भाई ऐसा हो गया, जैसे मान लो कोई, obviously we have seen the news also. So which is the side we can't see? Because media तो वही दिखाएगी जो जिस चीज़ को, जो नेगेटिविटी सबसे पहले बिकती है.
I feel his sensitive side and his vulnerability is something that
Media don't show.
Yeah, people, I mean, nobody talks about him.
Because as I've heard highly about him from a lot of people, though I've never met him. But वो side मैंने कभी news में नहीं सुना.
Yeah, see, like even now, your concentration is on not other work that I've done for 30 years, but it's only about Salman Khan. So that is what, either gets you work or doesn't get you work. That's the line that one has to draw or erase from what you're doing, because you have to showcase what other things you've done besides that. So if I tell people I've done Salman Khan's work, what will they say? They said, oh, you just buy ready-made jeans and you give him and t-shirts. What does he wear? Half the time he's not wearing clothes. So that is also a perception. So what am I doing there? But then look at the other work that I've done, which, nobody ever says anything about it. So, yeah. So that is something that I want to break, that myth that I've done tons of other work, but don't look at it that I've just done this.
One thing I'm keep coming up with this question from my own. आजकल मैं न्यूकमर्स को देखता हूँ, जितने भी न्यूकमर्स आते हैं, there's so much concern about their looks, who's going to be their stylist as compared to the role assigned to them.
I think that is the biggest myth that they have in their head, that styling is everything. They're not bothered about the character.
You must have seen closely to these things.
They're not bothered about the character. They only bothered about what they're wearing, and they even want to change a designer because they think that, oh, this design is not trendy enough or whatever. But you're not looking at the bigger, larger picture where the person is going to dress you up like a character, and even his name or her name is on the line. So it's not that, they are not concerned about you or anything. They want you to look like the character. It's not about making you look good or bad. It's making you look like a character. And that is very few designers are there that make you look like. I think there's Veera, there is few of them that really, really emphasize on, on characterization more than just styling somebody and making them look good. That anybody can make you look good. I mean, you tell anybody to just go and buy clothes and give them a card and say, okay, go to Gucci and buy something, and and they'll pick up what is on the mannequin, and if it suits the person, they'll be like, fine. I mean, wow. So you'll be like, that doesn't make you a visionary in terms of, I've done a whole course of styling, and I've done a whole course in fashion designing from America and from Parsons. And I studied the craft, and in the lockdown, I thought to myself that, how do I contribute more to what I'm doing? I did an entire course in styling because I wanted to know what these stylists keep talking about and what they teach you, and what these people, airheads, are all about is completely different. So, it's not about the brand that you wear. It's about how you wear it, how comfortable you are, what suits you. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, am I looking good? And like, very often I look at so many people and I think to myself, I'm like, do they have a mirror at home? When they look in the mirror and leave their house, I mean, what are they thinking? So, but then you can't objectify people in today's day and age, because if you say anything, then you're body shaming them. If you say anything, then you're sexually abusing them. If you say anything, then you're like, objectifying the person. Your connotation is so wrong about individuals, because my niece and my nephew keep telling me that 24/7. Like, Mamu, how can you talk like that? You can't say this, you can't say that anymore. I'm just stating facts, So, I guess that if you look at yourself in the mirror, truly walking out of your house and saying, okay, this looks good on me. This is what suits. I don't mean by wearing the shortest clothes or the more revealing. That's not the criteria at all. But make sure whatever you wear suits you, so that you look good. Your personality is enhanced more than just following trends blindfoldedly, which is foolish.
Very interesting question. See, these days all the influencers, जितने भी लड़कियां हैं, influencers हैं, they think that wearing short clothes will look more elegant. But what is the definition of being elegant at the same time?
Well, each one to their own, because
but आजकल कम कपड़ा पहनने के स्टाइल है ना कि वो थोड़ा और
fashionable. See, I don't have anything about.
But fashion को define करने का मतलब वो नहीं है ना.
But I really don't have anything against people wearing short clothes or whatever they're wearing. If it doesn't suit you,
exactly, that's my point.
That is the biggest. They think that they look fab in it. And I'm like, how can you even think that you look good in it? Because you look foolish in what you're wearing. You really look stupid. I mean, like, people are going to look at you. Of course, then that thing comes in, I don't care. But then if you don't care, then why are you wearing trendy clothes if you don't care? Wear anything else now. So it boils down to ultimately that you're doing it so that people will look at you. You're doing it so that you get attention. You're doing it so that, people are going to turn around and say, oh God, what is she wearing? It's like that. So there are certain etiquettes that people don't even understand. Like, like a simple thing like adjusting undergarments when you're wearing the shortest skirt or whatever. Who's looking? Look at around, or who's looking at you? And then you say that, oh, that guy was looking at me. Why is he looking at you? Because of the way you're behaving, So do you see like guys in like micro mini shorts and one short little tank top? No, you don't see them. You don't see guys roaming around like that. But you do see that with a lot of women. And then, because of the way they're dressed or whatever it is, they think that, why are they looking at me? But ultimately, you walked out like that so that people would look at you. Otherwise, you wouldn't walk out like that. You want people to look at you. And when they do, then you have this problem. I don't understand that one. Like, so many times I'm standing in a big, huge line and, I don't like to throw my weight around, even though I know the person wherever I am going. I'll just stand quietly in there because everybody else is standing in the line. Suddenly you'll see one woman walking up past, and there are people older than you standing in the line. And how can you just walk past everybody like that? Why? Just because you think you're better dressed or who you are? I will always get out of the line and I will always tell the person. Every time I've done it. And people just look at me like, who are you? Like, Like, go stand in the line back behind like everybody else. So I think clothes make a man, so it's your personality, your shoes, I look at people's shoes and then decide their personality.
See, I am from Delhi. So Delhi people are very flashy.
Oof.
है ना? वो
You can say that again.
Delhi people are very flashy. They buy expensive clothes and think they are very fashionable and put all the big labels. इनका label होता है बड़ा बड़ा छाती पे दिखे वो पहन के घूमते हैं. And they think only money can solve the problem of fashion. कि पैसा से जो महंगा चीजें खरीदा वही मेरे फैशन में ऐड होगा. But do you think? I think fashion is just a perception. What do you say?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. You can't just wear a Gucci jacket and a Gucci t-shirt and a Gucci tracks and Gucci shoes and Gucci bag and you think that, wow, I'm like, and throw so much of makeup on yourself and go around. And that too, where you're going? To the mall. I'm like, what is wrong with you all, man? Like, come on, you're going to the mall to shop. Why are you dressed up like this? Like, I've got a lot of friends in Delhi and I keep telling them, I said, please, Choti, go and change. Just now, I'm not coming with you anywhere like this. So, and I see other people's friends and, when I dress down and, okay, they know that, their friend is bringing some designer from Bombay, so I don't know what they expect. And they're like, oh, this is your friend from Bombay. I'm like, yeah, and this is, we wear jeans and t-shirts and shirts. And that's what I like about Bombay. It's more casual in its approach. And people dress up appropriately for the occasion. That's what I really, really like. In Delhi, people just love to dress up. So, but one thing that I miss in Bombay is the winters. Because in Delhi, you get to wear these lovely jackets, and which I've got tons of them, and they're just lying in my cupboard and do not know when to wear them. Because in Bombay, it's hot 24/7. So, but it's really, it's a perception. It's not about how much money you spend. You've got to have some class along with it, It's your style. And I always find that, you find what looks good on you and wear that, irrespective whether it's in style or not. It doesn't really matter because ultimately you're the one who has to look good.
So the thing is, if somebody goes to the street market, I think एक फैशन स्टाइलिस्ट के लिए, कॉस्ट्यूम डिजाइनर के लिए स्ट्रीट मार्केट तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है. आप मार्केट में जाओगे तब ढूंढोगे, निकाल के लाओगे. बट सेम if I come up to you or somebody who's very who think that fashion is come with the luxury and the paisa se aata hai, but tell him someday that I'm looking nice but I'm wearing a 100 rupees t-shirt, so they'll start looking down. तो fashion को समझने की कोशिश नहीं कर रहे.
But it depends on who the person is also. If that person means
my fashion is with the price tag only.
Yeah, but if that person's opinion means so much to you, then I think you should not be friends with that person, really. Because it doesn't really matter whether you're wearing a 100 rupee t-shirt or a 5,000 rupee t-shirt or a 5 lakh rupee t-shirt. It's about how you wear it and how you keep it up and how good it looks on you. That's it. And you don't need to answer anybody. You're not answerable to anybody as to whether you wear what price tag that. That is an individual. So I feel that you should wear your personality. That is what is most important, because the moment you lose that, then you'll be like anybody else. So sometimes you just look at somebody walking into the room and you're like, wow, I like the way he's dressed and like everything so well put together. It could be the cheapest thing on the face of the earth. You really don't know. But so that's what I feel a lot of people fail. It's about how you look and it's not about what brand you're wearing. It's just what you're wearing. That is what's it.
What was your conductor to come this far?
What was my
conductor to give you
to come this far? I guess it is my grit to survive. And I always felt that no matter what, this is the place that I want to be. I want to see my name in bright lights on the screen. From the first movie that I did, and when I saw my name on Jojita Vai Sikandar, I said, this is what I want to do all my life. So I want to see my name up there everywhere in lights. And I started working towards it. I didn't bother about looking left or right or nothing. I was concentrating on my work. I wanted to be a costume designer, and that's what I aspired to be. I didn't want to be a fashion designer, and But then through the years, I realized that I also have this other talent where I can make people clothes in cheaper, in much cheaper.
Which I saw just now.
Yeah. And then give it to the world, and that people will be like, wow, what are you wearing? Oh, I'm wearing something from Ashley Rebello. It's like that. And that's what I want to make fashion affordable, which is, most of the designers here, they start a Banarasi sari, which you can fly down to Banaras. You can go to the weaver himself and get your own design made in 50,000 rupees. But a designer will charge you 1.5 lakh, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, starting for a Banarasi sari, which you can get done there. So I encourage people, no, go, fly there, stay in Taj at the best hotel, and yet you'll get that same sari, the same thing, for 50,000 rupees. So that is what
your aura is very calm. Do you lose your cool very easily?
No, not really. I used to at one given point of time, but I learned to conduct myself, and I learned to calm myself down with my emotions, and because it's so high strung, the job, I feel that if I kept doing that, it would take me nowhere. So I learned a lot to do it, but I feel it's good, because everybody should do that in life, because you're able to think better, you're able to process better. And when you're able to process better and think better, then obviously the outcome of it is much more than what you would expect.
मतलब कहीं मैंने कहीं सुना भी था, बहुत अच्छी लाइन भी दी कि people forget आप कहाँ मिले, कैसे मिले, but what they will remember, how you behave with them.
Yes, of course. I truly believe that. I'm a strong believer of that. I mean, like you're going up the ladder, always remember you have to come down that same ladder. And what you do to the people on the way is very, very important, because those same people will perceive you how you perceived them and how you treated them. I would always, on every set, be the nicest to the assistant directors, because I felt that they would do the most amount of work. And today they are all directors, and I work with them. So, in 30 years down the line, they have become big directors. So, it's always nice to be nice to people. It doesn't hurt.
How you're spiritually inclined?
Well, spirituality is huge, and it's a big word. So, I just believe in karma. And I believe that what you do comes back to you in this life. Of course, people believe that you have to wait till the next life but I believe that everything is here, and you make the money, you spend it here, you make good deeds, everything you have to do it here. So spiritually, in terms of that, I love going to Rishikesh. I think that's one of the most, you just land there and that's it. It's
That's
heaven.
a happy place.
It's heaven. Yeah, I love Rishikesh. I love the mountains more than the sea. All my friends love the sea more than the mountains. So we always have this tussle of where to go for a holiday. And but I also believe a lot in this Sufi saint from Punjab, who's called Saiji, and he's made a lot of difference to my life. Of course, he's not living anymore. But I go to his mazar, and I think that's one of the vibration is so good there that it gives you so much of energy. And I just love that. And I love spreading the word about him to a lot of people, because it's made a lot of difference in my life. I'm sure it could make in your life too.
Who is your competitor, by the way?
Competitor?
Competitor.
I don't have any competitor. because I'm niche in my own way. And I think it's the biggest misconception, and it's the most foolish thing somebody could do when you think that you have competition, because then you're losing your individuality and you're only worried about what the other one is doing. You do your work, पूरी शिद्दत से आप करो, and कामयाबी तो will be yours.
बट ऐसा तो मतलब ये मैंने आपसे सुना है. अदरवाइज कंपेटिटर जब होते हैं, आप चाहे काफ़ी डिज़ाइनर से आप मिलते होंगे आसपास, तो उनमें कुछ तो रहता होगा किसी के काम को क्रिटिसाइज करना, अरे ये तो ऐसा है, मेरा काम बेटर है.
मैं तो क्रिटिसाइज करता हूँ ना, पर I also love people's work. Like I love Sabyasachi's work. I love so many people's work. Like Shah Abdurazi, I think he's one of the greatest designers we have, but he's not got his due. His workmanship is impeccable. I mean, you look at his garment inside out, you can wear it back to front. But I like Sabyasachi's. I like his finishing. I like how he brings tradition back into modernism, and how he brings, the kind of work that he does. His finish is so good. And you'll see very few designers praising another designer. Very, very few. You ask so many of the designers and they'll name some international designer. Why? I mean, it's ridiculous. You've got so much of talent in India. Why do we need to name a foreign designer when they're looking forward to working with Indian designers? So, I have a friend in Udaipur, and he works with, I think, about 40% of all the top class designers just by supplying fabric, printing, embroidery for them. I'm talking about Chanel. I'm talking about the biggest designers on the face of this earth, whether it's Etro, Puch, all these big designers come to them. And so it's not about, you've got to at somewhere acknowledge what we have here and make the most of it. It's your topography first around you that makes who you are, and starts, if you're in Maharashtra, I love working with Paithanis and Maharashtrian saris, and my new collection that I have done is completely that. So which I was not doing initially. I didn't have a collection or nothing. Now I have time on hand for myself. I'm doing good movies. I'm doing biopics, and I love what I'm doing right now. And it's giving me a free hand to explore much, much more than what I was doing. And it's changing my perception.
I have seen that designers' name on the poster and the film, they put down the name but do you think that amount of respect is also given at that point of time?
Of course.
Because they same amount of hard work they also do it behind. Though they are behind the camera, but still.
I completely agree. There is that amount of respect given to the designer. In fact, the bigger you are, the more they look up to you. And I've had so many directors, big directors that I've been working with, where they've taken down notes on what I think about the story, what I think about the characters, what I think, and asking for my opinion. So I must be doing something right. That is why they're asking me, or whoever it is. So, in fact, I've even written a story, and it's now with a big platform that they've taken it on. I just went and I made somebody hear the story, and they said, I love it. And they took it. Sure. And they're making it into a series. So, yes. So I didn't know I had this thing in me that I could write too.
You have done everyone's newcomer first movie, I think. All the newcomers who debuted.
Quite a few of them.
Yeah.
A lot of
most of them, I must say.
Yeah. Whether it's Amisha Patel, whether it is Shahid Kapoor, whether Shahnaz, Trishriwala, whether it is Sonakshi Sinha, whether it is Kiara Advani, Deepika, Imran Khan, whether Janelia, tons of them. So I have done a lot of newcomers, and I love working with newcomers because you can mold them to however you want to. And that is something that, because then that's the perception that people have about them. So you're actually making somebody. In my mind, I used to think that I'm designing this, I'm making them who they are. So that is something that I love doing. I love working with newcomers because it's an open canvas, empty canvas. And
I was watching one of your podcasts somewhere and you said very beautifully this thing. You should never undervalue yourself. Never ever. सोच बड़ी होगी तो काम भी बड़ा होगा.
Correct. I agree with that wholeheartedly. The moment you start undervaluing yourself is your downfall completely. And I just feel that you should work with blinders all along, and just there is your manzil and you'll reach there. That's it. Because don't care about what happens. You go head on to where you want to. And that's what I keep telling a lot of students. I'm associated with a couple of fashion schools, which is NIF, which is New York School of Fashion. And so I'm one of their mentors. And I keep telling the students all the time that, focus on what you want to do and don't think this is an industry like, where everything is instant. It's not instant coffee. I know that you all are used to that. You click on Google and you get what you want. You go to the coffee shop and you say, I want a cappuccino, and it's there in your hand. It doesn't work like that. For work, you have to work hard for this. And that is something that you're not willing to do, but you'll have to if you want to reach where you are. Everybody who is somebody that you aspire to be has worked really, really hard to be where they are. So I guess that I know that if you work hard, you'll achieve anything that you want.
So one very interesting question. लोग मॉडलिंग इंडस्ट्री को इतना लुक डाउन करके क्यों देखते हैं? मॉडलिंग सर्कल को.
I don't know.
किसी ने मुझसे पूछने को बोला आप you will give a very good answer.
Really? But I think that modeling is a stepping stone to...
Maybe because lot of, I think जो रैंप शोज होते हैं उनके बारे में शायद कुछ पूछने के लिए बोला था आपको. I don't know. Somebody told me that you should.
A lot of people have a lot of opinions about a lot of things, and a lot of designers, they think that, X, Y, and Z, they're having fashion shows. So they're sleeping with all the male models, they're sleeping with all the female models, but doesn't work.
Wasn't that way?
How can it work like that?
we are an outsider.
That's ridiculous.
You have
if
to,
somebody
you
thinks that.
That's why you have to.
Yeah, so if you're having 100 models, and you've got 2 days that you're selecting the models, means you're sleeping with 100 people. That's ridiculous. So,
well, liking favoritism will be there, na?
Obviously, that happens everywhere. When you go into an office, when you go into a bank, a manager will favor somebody or the other. I mean, wherever you're working, and everywhere, you would probably have a favorite cameraman that you like. That doesn't mean anything. And that goes to the same thing, because this line is so glamorized that people want to put labels and bring you down no matter what. Every cricketer is like this, every actor is like that. It doesn't work like that, So I always ask models, I said, don't you have the ability to say no? You're 6'3" and you're going to meet somebody who is 5'2". So what is he going to do to you?
Right.
I mean, how can he even... You're saying, they throw themselves on you, and I'm like, please, you're this big, huge 6'3" man. What are you talking? I mean, you're talking nonsense. Everybody has it in them to get up and go away from where they are.
But still they don't go.
They don't.
I get.
And then if they're there and they're happy with what they're doing, and then they stop getting the work, then they're like, this person is like that. So what does it say about you? That you're not condemning yourself, you're only condemning somebody else, which is ridiculous. So I always find that there is a choice. People have a choice, no matter who they are and what they are. You cannot blame the person or the situation that you're in. You always have a choice to get up and go.
It's same like Me Too. First, when they don't get work, they come out and say that
it's ridiculous. So, and I just find that forget about this industry, in every industry, it's there. There's favoritism in everywhere. I know so many people my friends who work in offices who are doing regular job, whichever field they are in. They also face so many problems. They're like, oh, this girl has just come in and she's getting everything, and we're really working here for the last 15 years and there's nothing. I'm like, that's the way it is. So, there is. Like, I favor some of my assistants not because of anything else, but because they're good at their work.
Right. But still you get labeled sometimes.
Of course, you do. Not sometimes, all the time.
And I've seen then people, when a designer walks with some of the models in the party, they say, oh, there's something going on. Like this, na?
No. Nonsense. I don't know. Maybe also. But yeah, it may be. It may be true to some of them. Must be. But then that model also knows that they're walking into that.
But still he'll be there.
Obviously, because he knows that by walking into that party, he'll get to know X, Y, and Z. And then suddenly he'll drop this person who he is with. So everybody is working to their advantage.
So you guys, we should say that everybody is clever at some point of time.
Of course. They're very smart.
They're very smart.
Very, very
They look
smart.
innocent, but they are not.
Yeah. Oh, they're too smart.
They're too smart.
Yeah. Especially the ones that come in from the north.
That's fun. Nice. Oh my God. So I think it's been 30 years to you. Good 30 years in the industry. You have seen all the eras, 80s, 90s, and now. Who is your favorite and style icon so far? Who has tested time since from the beginning?
I think Rekha. Without a doubt. I just saw her. She killed it in the Vogue magazine recently. Even Dimple Kapadia, Zeenat Aman. I think we need to have the style icons. There's no personality in today's stars.
And in the male?
In the male, I like Saif Ali. I like his style. I like the way he's so classy with whatever he wears, how he conducts himself, and he is just so soft that nobody can beat him. Nobody.
Which is the one director you always look up and want to work always?
The one director that I always wanted to work with, and I worked with, was Suraj Bhattacharya.
I am asking, you want to work continuously with? Yeah.
Continuously with, I would say Suraj Bhattacharya. I like his way of working, and I really like how he brings things to life. And I think a lot of the designers look up, a lot of the directors look up to him. Even Karan Johar and so many of his interviews keep saying that, that's one person that I'd really like to work with. Yes. I'd like to aspire to be that, even if it was Yash Raj films, whether it is so many of the directors of today want to make films like his. And the kind of popularity and the kind of work that he does, it's unmatchable. I think his eye for detail more than anything else.
I think Aishwarya ka, when she was 18, right? आपने पहला commercial भी आपने किया था.
Yes.
How was the full story?
Well, she was sweet little girl. She was in college. I remember she was in her 12th standard.
As she was uncomfortable, you gave her backlist.
Yeah. I'd given, because that was the whole ad where, you only see her back. And then at the last, he holds her back and she turns and you know that it's this girl. So I remember her. And at that time, I used to work from home. So I'd literally have my changing room in my bedroom. And I remember her mom coming with her. And she was like, there's no back to this dress. I was like, that's it, honey. That's how it's supposed to be. That's what you got to wear. So, but that ad turned out really good. And then I went on to do movies with her. And I did one of her most iconic ads, which I really liked, which I thought is one of her most iconic ads, which was for Nakshatra, where she's in that black dress and in that thing. So that's something that I really liked. And I love working with her. She's one of the most
And she's not alone. There are a lot many Miss Indias, Miss Worlds you have worked with. Like
lot of them, like Priyanka Chopra,
आपने उनका गाउन भी जो भी उनका ड्रेस है उस समय के लिए
Neha Durpya, whether it was Priyanka, whether Lara Datta. I worked with so many of them as models as well as Miss Indias and Sushmita Sen. I did one of her most iconic songs, which was from Fiza. So I think she looked stunning in that song. And so I've done many movies with her, BB Number One. I've done Josh with Aishwarya. I've done lots of work with a lot of them. And so I feel that if you have it in you, then you can shine. If you don't, then you should look for another option of another career. Because this industry is very, very lethal. It doesn't give you a second chance. So you've got to hit it in the first mark. That's it. You don't have a second choice.
So in front of the camera we to see on the screen also जो भी आता है, behind the camera जो भी effort होता है as a costume designer, which go unnoticed sometime, क्योंकि obviously big banner film, lot of pressure on you, either it can be a big fat wedding also. So कौन सा वो effort होता है जो unnoticed हो जाता है कभी कभार, जो मतलब बस लोगों को लगता है ये तो कर दे बस कर दे बस कर दे.
Well, there's a lot of pressure in terms of whether it's movies.
What they don't understand as a client.
Yeah. Whether it's movies, whether it's weddings, whether it's anything. Even I just did the Ambani wedding, where in Jamnagar I did more than 1,200 outfits, and in Bombay I did more than 700 outfits. So that pressure was like crazy, because that is something that the pressure was just on. Because A, you're doing such a big wedding, which is going to be seen all over the world.
One of the top weddings so far. Yeah.
And B, you're under pressure that everything should look perfect, and they barely give you any time. So that is something I wish people would give more time and make quicker decisions, so that you can work better. You know, of course, you're giving your best, giving your 100% best, but I just feel that there could be that 101% that if I had a little more time, I could have done this. If I had a little more time, I could have done that. So that is something that is.
मैंने ये भी देखा है कि lot of designers attains fame, but after some time they vanish completely. Why this is there, still there?
Because I guess they don't move with the time. That is the biggest misconception a lot of people have.
Is this like they come with this ego, okay, whatever I'm doing is best?
That is also there, and they live in past glory. कि हमारे ज़माने में अरे ज़माना बदल गया, भाई, move on. You've got to move on. I don't sit and keep saying that, oh, I did this movie and I did that movie and I did this. No, I'm talking about my current work. I'm not talking about what I did then, or, you know, it's a part of me, of course, but I'm not harping that. I'm not sitting and keep on harping this, saying that, अरे मैंने ऐश्वर्या राय के साथ काम किया. No, I'm working with Yami Gautam now in today. You know, I'm not harping about what I did with Salman Khan. I'm working with whoever. That's what is important. Is to move with times. I remember even during the lockdown, I decided that I'm going to do a styling course. And I did a 1-year styling course where I used to sit down like a student, regular in front of my laptop, and given whatever assignments and everything that I had to do. So it's about learning.
One have to move with the trend.
Yes, have to.
Don't be rigid.
Yes, you have to move with time to succeed to where you want to be.
How your association with Salman Khan so long, for 14 years?
It's good. It's been very, very good.
How come? Because he can would have said, I want somebody else. How come so?
I think you should ask him that question.
But still, you must be knowing, because of your good nature, because you're very calm aura.
I guess so. I guess so. That is one of the aspects.
Because it's not always, see क्या होता है, एक आदमी के साथ जरूरी नहीं आपकी एक ही चीज काम करे. कभी आपकी पर्सनैलिटी काम करती है, कभी आपका काम करता है, कभी आपका अच्छा कनेक्शन काम करता है. Everything works hand in hand.
And maybe also, for him, I was good at my work. So that is what is the important thing. I also changed the way he looked a lot. He used to never wear suits before.
Oh.
Like, to go for any functions. And I started giving him, suits, and I started dressing him up his age. So that is also very, very.
बट कुछ लोग तो ये भी कहते होंगे ना, क्रिटिसाइज करते होंगे, अरे अब क्या पहनता है सलमान सर, एक वो पहनते हैं, जीन्स पहनते हैं, टी शर्ट पहनते हैं, निकल जाते हैं.
हाँ.
बट व्हाट दे डोंट नो अबाउट those outfits also.
Yeah, those jeans also are custom made. Those jeans are
Its boots are from London.
Yes, they have to be altered accordingly. So now for the last 1.5 year, the last 2 seasons of Big Boss, if people feel that, oh, he's wearing rubbish, then it's not. Promotional figures, how many have stopped working with it? At my niece with Anushka, she is handling his work. And of course, she does a good job. I'm just kidding. But I want to focus on other things like my production, my label, my a lot of things that I want to do. My writing that I've just given up. I used to write a column in a newspaper called DNA. People used to look forward to it. And that's when I started realizing that I had the ability also to tell stories. So people like to listen to me and my stories because I make them very interesting. I have added in a lot of anecdotes. I add in a lot of masala to it.
If I put aside everything, आपका काम भी, Ashley Rebello भी, सब कुछ जो brand name create किया, सब कुछ side रखूं, then I'll ask what Ashley Rebello already what he wants now.
Now?
As a human being, I see we have
I think that I would like to do a lot of good work in terms of to humanity. So that is my main aspiration.
which nobody knows so far.
Yes. Nobody talks about it. And I think one should not also. Because
people
like
these
they
days,
say, like your right hand should not know what your left
but
hand is
people
doing.
are not like this anymore.
Yeah,
they
they're
want
not.
to put camera before to do something good for the humanity.
Yeah. So I do a lot of work, but I want to do much, much more. And that's why I want to earn the kind of money that I want to, because in the long run, that's what I want to do. I want to give back to society.
But why you come with this thought? सब लोग तो एंड में अपने बारे में सोचते हैं कि अरे अब तो चलो एक सर्टेन एज का अपने लिए सोचना चाहिए.
I don't know. It's always been in me. I guess it's inculcated in me by my mother, who's a huge influence here. You would come to my house, you would not leave my house without having lunch or dinner, or she would whip up things which would be amazing. Like, even there was nothing in the house, she had this ability to make things look fabulous and taste fabulous. So every day we would come back from school and, I was to wait to see what she would make. Even if she made just simple shira, she would present it in such a way and cut it with like diamond shapes and do some little design around it. And you'll be like, wow, what is this I'm eating, But actually it's just plain shira. So I got that from my mom, and I love feeding people. I'm a good cook. You must come over anytime.
I've seen all of your interviews. You talk more about your mother. Why don't you not about your father?
Because my father died when I was very, very young. I was just 9 years old, so I don't remember much of him. And my mom was like everything to me, and she brought us up through really hard times. And I always wanted to just start working so that she would stop working, and that was one of my main things in life when I was studying. And that's why I used to make t-shirts and sell. I would make every Navratri, I would make ghagra chodis and sell. I would go to stores, like shops. And
you wanted to be the bread and butter of the family?
Yes, I wanted. So
I was not aware about this side of the story. So only people see the brighter side now. Never.
I guess so. But
how difficult it was when you started so early?
Of course, it was very, very difficult because like I said, I didn't have a godfather. And I truly believe that you don't need one. If you have the ability to put yourself out there and say, I'm going to make it big, trust me, there's nobody stopping. Look at a Kartik Aaryan. He's come from nowhere and has just made, he's one of the big top stars. And whatever people may say about him, I think he's a wonderful person. And he is different to different people. I've seen it. He knows that you're a self-made person and he's so different to you from the other ones who've got it easier. I've noticed that about him. But I guess that resonation is there between two people. He resonates with you that, you've also made it the hard. And I love the way he treats the staff. I like the way there's so many things that are good about him. So I always tell people, aspire to be somebody who is someone, not just anybody, So aspire to be that somebody that will make a difference in people's lives. And that's when you will become the biggest superstar in the face.
I want to understand one thing from you only. When you lose a parent at such an early stage of your life, what are the amount of pressure you, as a child, you get?
Well, there's an immense amount of pressure because...
but you can't even tell to other people because you always not even say a lot of things to your parents also. You have to go by your own.
Yes. So, because I used to see how hard my mother used to work. And, she was just a housewife. And suddenly from being a housewife, she had to become a business person. She had to, look after the family. We were 3 of us. I've got 2 other sisters, 2 other siblings. And, there was nobody really to help us out. And she had to just do everything on her own. So that is something that was, I used to see that grit and that, that she was like a lioness, her kids were everything to her. And so I guess I got that from her. And that thing and that determination that I have to make it, it's from her and nobody else.
फिर तो आपको बहुत अच्छे से पता होगा कि कैसे रिश्तेदारों के नजरिए बदलते हैं. Because they hunt you down, and when you do something in life, he is the fabulous man.
I remember people telling my mom that, क्या बनेगा ये दर्जी बनेगा क्या. I said, even if I want to become a tailor, that's nothing wrong in being a tailor. I said,
but Mama was always there.
Yeah. She was like, do whatever you want to do, but when you get up in the morning, you have to look at yourself in the mirror. She would always tell me this and tell all the other kids in the family this, that if you nazar se nazre na milaya, so then you're doing something wrong. If you look in the mirror and you can't look at yourself, then there's something wrong that you're doing. But if you can look at yourself, then you're going absolutely right. So, and just always say, just believe in yourself. There is nothing else that anybody can teach you in this. I believe in destiny. I believe in myself. And I believe that you have to be self-made no matter what. And a lot of people have got it easy in their life, but when you work hard and you get what that's...
What was your proudest moment? I'm talking about when your mother thought that.
When she came with me to see my first film and she saw my name, she was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And the same cousins and uncles who told my mother that kya kaam kar raha hai ye, they were the same, acha, Rebello ka naam har newspaper mein aa raha hai, अच्छा काम कर रहे हो बेटा. I'm like, are you serious? Like, all the same ones who told me, what are you doing? So, but that was one of my proudest moments, I would say, when my mom's...
The child who started early in his life, we always think of making name in the industry. है ना, उसको लगता है कि कभी भी तो नाम बनाना है, कुछ भी हो जाए बनाना है. But क्या होता है ना, क्योंकि उसने दुनिया इस तरीके देखी होती है कि बहुत मुश्किल से चल रही होती है, तो जिसको बहुत मुश्किल से मिलता है ना सब कुछ, वो फिर एक टाइम जब आता है तो उस ना ईगो भी बिल्डअप होता है. जो आप कुछ अचीव करते हो तो साथ साथ ईगो भी बिल्डअप होता है, वो टूटता भी है बाद में फॉर द बेटर. बट हैव यू कम अक्रॉस विद सच thing in your life?
So I would say that that's
वो
one.
naturally आ जाता है, वो गलती किसी की नहीं होती है.
No, but that's one thing that I never had in myself. There is an ego. Never. I'm not an egoistic
That's God. That's why
person.
God has been kind to you.
Yeah, I'm not an egoistic person at all. I'd never be that. Acha, even like things like simple things like if somebody's done something bad to me, I'd never say that. Acha, you know what? I'll do bad to that person back. No, I would always be that. Acha, उसने किया, कुछ तो कारण होगा. That's why he did what he did to me.
You want to understand both sides of the story.
Yes. And I would always be that, you know what, Ashley, you just do your work and you just live your life the way you want to and things will fall in place. Of course, you get upset very often. And of course, there are so many times that you're like, why is this person behaving like this with me for not? Yeah, it's human nature. But to overcome that is a big, huge stepping stone.
What makes you emotional?
What makes me emotional? When people let me down.
Have they done in the past?
Yeah, many. So, for no rhyme, no reason of mine. They don't want to hear the other side of the story. That is something that I can't
And
understand.
what was the story which you wanted to come out? कि यार ये पता होता उन्हें तो शायद ऐसा नहीं बोलते.
So, if you're in a relationship or a friendship with somebody
Which is okay.
and the third person says something, you know, you have to listen to both sides of the story. You cannot take a decision by hearing one side of the story. That's wrong. That's completely wrong. That's not fair, first and foremost. Because you're not giving the other individual even a chance to, you know, say anything. And that's what I feel is really wrong. I mean, that is something that nobody should. You should give a fair chance. I always give a fair chance. And I'm always, so my friends keep telling me that, Arey, you say like this, you say like this, you're a saint or what. I said, it's not about being a saint or whatever. I just feel कि कुछ ना कुछ तो मजबूरी होगी उसकी कि उन्होंने ऐसे बोला. Till date, I still find that I love that person so much that I feel that maybe there was something that compelled that person to talk about me like that. Well, I'm not like that. I know if I was, of course, I would say I don't care or I would say something else. But I know that I've not done that. I've known that I've not said that. And still you accuse me, then that hurts me a lot. So that is something that I'm very, very emotional about.
My second last question is, these days I've seen a lot of these RAM shows are going on. What is your take on that?
So, well, a lot of times, which a lot of people don't understand is that at a RAM show, you'll always make clothes which are also to show your creativity. It's something out of the box that you want to show. But obviously, you're not going to put those same clothes in the store. You'll do a version of it. But where else can you show your creativity and show your passion for what you're doing and your designing skills? That is something that you can only show it there. So it's like a showcase, and I don't think there's anything wrong in it. But the very fact that you're judged by who your showstopper is, that is rubbish. So you could be the most talented person and not have a big actor or actress walking for you. Doesn't matter. So, but that's what I feel.
These young designers are going for it because only to get showcased an open show by any top leading actress, he'll come and walk for you. Not because what they want to do as a creative part on the ramp.
To some extent, that's true. But
right?
Then that's, like I said, अलग-अलग लोगों का अलग-अलग
मतलब वो वही बन गया कि कोई आए शो स्टॉपर हो, हम अपने कपड़े प्लेस कर दें. Creativity is not there.
Yeah. But then what is the outcome of it? How long will you last with it? That one season, people will see that
at the end of the day, you have to
X, Y, and Z has won, but you have to survive. That is what is most important. Surviving in the market is the most important thing. It's not about anything.
So before closing this, I want you to say something. Now it's all yours. Show is yours. Before closing this, what you want to say to the viewers, whatever you want to say. It can be either advice, it can be your personal advice, it can be any end.
Well, if this goes out to all young students or young kids who want to be designers, first and foremost, focus on what you want to do in design. Whether you want to be a costume designer, you want to be a fashion designer, you want to be a stylist, you want to be what is that one thing that you want to do in the world of fashion? There's so much. You can be a fashion editor, a photographer, you can do the business side of fashion. So identify that. That is what is most important. And then do a course. It could be a small course, a short term, long term, whatever, where you get a lot of technical knowledge. And then the most important thing is you must work under somebody so you have practical knowledge. Where else would you get paid and learn? I keep telling all my assistants, I said, you should be paying me, not I paying you, Yeah, you just know where my tailors are, you just know where my embroidery men are, you know where I get the fabric from, you know how I think, everything, it's ready-made for you. And then you can just go and do another film, So it's very, very important for you to work under somebody because that's where you learn a lot. And that's where you can even focus on what you want to do henceforth. So that is something that I tell a lot of young kids that, focus on what you want to do and don't think everything is instant because it takes a lot of time and energy to reach. You want to be Sabyasachi, you want to be Ashley Rebello, you want to be whoever, but it's their journey that it's taken them 30 years, 25 years to reach there. That is something that you've got to see. Don't look at where they are right now. Look at their journey and aspire to live a better journey than they.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being part of Impact Stories.
Thank you.